Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And it must be Wednesday. New
It must
comic
be
book day.
Wednesday. We missed Monday because
We
it
did because
was
of the holiday.
Labor Day, although I really had no right to celebrate Labor Day now that I'm retired. I haven't worked in like 2 years.
Hey, come on. There's beer to be had and
I
cheesesteaks
saw
to
that
eat.
I saw that everywhere on social media. If you didn't work this year, you don't get to celebrate Labor Day. Don't light a grill, have a sandwich, and just be quiet.
So before John does his thing with New Comic Book Day, we have a special guest with us tonight.
Oh yeah,
AR Comics,
we're loaded with talent.
a YouTuber who does reviews,
What's up, bud?
an expert.
What's
He's
going
going to
on?
drop some wisdom on us tonight. Joining me and John. Thank you, AR, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, John, do your thing, and now you have AR to give his commentary better than mine, I'm sure.
Favorite day of the week, it's Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. You can follow along on most social media platforms, hashtag NCBD. This week from Dynamite, we have 3 books. Not as many as I'd like, but 3, so I'll have to have a word with the publisher. Elvira meets Vincent Price #2. We have multiple covers on these books, so I'm just going to kind of, I was going to mash through them. People can look this stuff up on not to mention, with AR on here, I'm sure he's going to do a much more detailed analysis on what's up this week.
Well, I watch his YouTube channel. Yeah, it's a lot better than you.
It's a lot better than us.
No, I appreciate that.
So,
We have some really neat covers. I particularly like.
and we got Dave joining us already. Thanks, Dave.
Hey, Dave, what's up, bud?
What's the weather like in California?
Elvira.
And I guess it's just me. I really love the photo covers. I mean,
I'm a big fan of photo ones too.
Elvira is sort of a lifelong favorite. I'll tell you right now, people have asked me a little bit, particularly on Twitter, what Elvira Vincent Price is. First of all, people are asking me where it's going to go. Why would I tell you that? Even if I did arm twist Dave Avalone into telling me the end of the book. First of all, I don't want to know the end of the book. Why would I tell everybody else the end of the book? Just wait. My patience to everyone watching this is just wait. The books will come out. Second of all, I always like to recommend people like reference material. And Dave Avalone and I are about the same age, and we have the same kind of tastes in like obscure media, radio shows.
I didn't know he was that old.
I did not know he was that old either. He's a few years younger than me, but not that much younger than me. If you go to YouTube, where today's guest, rules the roost, you can find these awesome sort of YouTube channels that have remastered old radio plays, old radio shows, serials. Vincent Price did one called Suspense, and I got to tell you right now, check that out for 10 minutes, and you will enjoy Elvira Meets the Ghost of Vincent Price way more, because he, the Vincent Price you would see in TV and movies was, I would say, like 3rd gear. Vincent Price on the radio is like in 5th gear. He just lets it all hang out. He really goes over the top. One of those shows, he plays an axe murderer, and he's talking to himself about getting away with murder. I tell you, man, Vincent Price that's like a next level dude.
Well, I mean, you're talking about someone who's been around. Obviously, I remember my mom was a huge fan because she used to love those old horror movies. So it's somebody that's certainly been around since we were young. I mean, looking at AR, I think John and I are a bit older than you, so you may not remember him when he actually looked young. But I know that AR. In about a second, I want you to tell us a little bit more about your YouTube channel, because I know you get a lot of viewers. You do New Comic Book Day, I know, and then what's upcoming next week, and then you have videos that you post for members that join. But watching AR's videos, the guy does reviews. He drops some knowledge. I know you've got segments on grading, investing in comics, things like that. So happy to have you here tonight. To kind of educate a lot of new collectors out there.
Yeah, I mean, this week we also have Kiss Platinum Obsession, and like I said, I'm not going to get too much into these. With AR here, that's sort of New Comic Book Day is his gimmick. So I'm essentially just going to show the books. And if people have questions, if he has comments, for the person who commented on my Instagram that it seems like Dynamite has a lot of multiple covers, yeah, they really do. And sometimes it can be a pain showing you guys everything. But That's what the market calls for.
Doc,
People
you love it.
people like multiple covers.
You
They
love
really
it.
do. I
And
mean,
they always seem to be missing after the show. I'm just saying.
they're not missing. That's you can put that as payroll.
You keep flashing. AR, so tell us how you got started with the YouTube channel and all that stuff.
Man, I'll tell you, it truly did like come out of nowhere. So I just got out of the military about, I don't know, March, so a few months back. And when I first joined, seeing that my whole family's still over in Pennsylvania, my dad loves comics. He loves all of this type of stuff. And to me, this was a way that I could, still kind of, stay in touch without truly staying in touch. I would read weekly books. I'd talk to him about which ones he got. And, we'd just compare ideas and what we'd like. And then it evolved from there, because when I do something, I really like to get into it. Like with this hobby, I decided to start taking pictures of books, and I made the Instagram, and it basically was just reviews, my opinions, what I thought about some books that came out for New Comic Book Day. And then it evolved from there. People were asking, well, do you have YouTube? Do you make videos? And initially I did not want to do that at all. I had no interest in doing it. It's just not really my thing. And I started it based on what people wanted. And I actually really hated it in the beginning. It wasn't me. It wasn't what I liked. Made maybe 50 videos, and I took a nice long break, and I told myself, at least make 100 and go from there. I came back probably about 4 or 5 months later, and I don't know what changed, if something happened, but I had a blast doing it. And that's basically how it evolved, just from the beginning, just staying in touch with my dad, to Instagram reviews, to YouTube videos. And it's just been honestly so much fun. I love talking to everybody. I didn't realize, honestly, comics were this huge still. I knew the characters from Marvel, and in the beginning I honestly only read Marvel, and then I kind of hopped on DC, and then I learned that there's Image, there's Boom, there's Dynamite, there's all these indie publishers, and there's just so many awesome books out there. And and people can make investment videos, people make speculation videos, but to me, it's all about reading and just really enjoying what you have in front of you. Because as you can tell, even behind, I love the hardcovers. I love, these compendiums, the omnibus. That's what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's a great story, because it ended up starting out with something to keep connected with your dad, and then evolved into this. But it's interesting, because I think that one of the segments that I saw your show is speculation, and you talk about different IPs that have been picked up and getting turned into TV shows, whatever, so on and so forth. And John and I talk about this in our shows. It's become literally the source material for the studios to come up with new ideas. They've run out of new ideas, so they turn to comics, whatever it may be, like The Boys and whatever else the case may be. And this has become their source material. They grab them from the world of comics, and the growth in the comic industry has not followed along with, obviously, the franchises and the MCU and so on and so forth. And kind of what we want to do here is to grow that segment. And kudos to you, because what you do, obviously, even to your surprise, generates a lot of interest, inside the actual comic book industry, not just the MCU universe and the movies.
Well, the comic book industry is essentially, like, to use a Marvel term, the bullpen for the video game industry and the movie industry and Disney Plus and everything else. And unfortunately, it's not like the growth is disproportionate, right? I saw a comment from an exec at Disney Plus, and she was like, if we could do a new show every week, we would. Right? Because there's money in the bank for them. Literally, I'm up at like 4 a.m. making coffee, and I'm watching What If this morning. And there's not enough. And Dan Slott mentioned this on it was either a podcast or an internet radio show, where he felt that there literally weren't enough creators, right? Like, you had the well-known creators for like Marvel and DC, Image, Dynamite, like we'll say like 5 or 6, right? But then there's like this big gap. And then we have a ton of like new creators coming in that really sort of are, learning their craft. Gail Simone mentioned it this way too. She's like, we're missing like the middle part of the puzzle. She's like, all of us are in our 40s, 50s, early 60s, sometimes even later, older, you know what I mean? And she's like, there's people that we should have in like their 30s. And we really just don't have, you know what I mean? There's like a generation that's skipped.
Yeah, but you have guys like AR, pushing the cause in a sense. Younger generation, because the rest of us, we're getting old, AR. You know, so
I have to read comics with a magnifying glass. It's time for a young man to step up.
Scan it, blow it up on your screen. Get digital comics. But you know what? We better get to at least one comic before Nick kills us. What do you want to do?
Well, you know what? Why don't we start with it?
And it's the voice from behind the curtain that said it's Star Trek Day. Is it Star Trek Day, John?
Considering the number of times I've seen the Star Trek Experience at Hilton Hotel in Las Vegas,
I only went once.
I was aware it was Star Trek Day. So we are going to start with Star Trek #1. This is from the Marvel run. Wow, when comics were 40 cents. Oh my God, I can barely remember this. Signed by John Romita. Based on the adaptation of the Star Trek the motion picture.
Awesome.
This is a property that got love as years went by. I remember when Star Trek the motion picture came out, a few of us loved it and most everybody else hated it. And then 25 years later, people are like, oh no, it's really good. I'm like,
and when the movie came out, I mean, what was it, 79? You had to be a Star Trek fan to love the movie, just because it was back, you know, after what, 10 years? So that caused it. But all right, so we have Star Trek the motion picture #1, signed by John Romita Sr.
Just to be clear, the adaptation is done by Marv Wolfman, arts by Dave Cockrum and Klaus Janson. This isn't just kind of like, you know, like you bought your popcorn and your movie ticket and they gave you this. This is, you know.
Back when the movie theaters, the ground was sticky.
Signed by John Romita.
Signed by John Romita Sr. So we have this tonight at $499.99. And you know, go ahead.
Is that a COA with it as well?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Everything we're going to offer is going to have. There's always a certificate of authenticity on the back. Awesome. Hollow foil seal from either Dynamite Entertainment or Dynamic Forces.
And it is limited edition to 2, actually, believe it or not. And we have #1 and #2. But we realize that you know, $4.99 is not within everybody's budget. So I do know that we can do a payment plan on that, you know, half up front and then half in 30 days on this particular item. And in honor of AR being here with us tonight, all right, you want to hold this up for me?
Sure.
Everybody who purchases tonight will get the 45th anniversary trading card set promotional card. So Red Sonja promo card will be included with everybody's purchase for free in honor of AR hanging out with us tonight. So, all right, what do you want to do next, my friend?
Well, you know what? Seeing as how it's Star Trek Day, we'll buzz through the Star Trek stuff.
Let's buzz through.
And then we can move along. This is one of these sort of very cool. It like did a lot of Star Trek crossovers. People, you know, there's stuff where it's like Star Trek and Teen Titans, Star Trek and Planet of the Apes. I love this stuff. This is a Dynamic Forces exclusive for IDW's Star Trek and Doctor Who.
Nice. So I think really the beauty of the medium of comics is you can do those things that, you know, maybe contractually can't happen in the real world, so to speak. I mean, we've seen the number of years that SpiderMan and X-Men have been separated from the rest of the MCU, and you know, because contractually it couldn't happen. Comics a little bit easier, you know, to explore that.
I remember this particular book. It was really neat. They had essentially a fusion between the Borg and the Cybermen, which facilitated the Enterprise crew and Doctor Who being involved. It's really neat. It's a lot of fun. They're not trying to, you know, carve anything into the mountain of comic books in either property. They're just trying to present like a really fun read, which I think they do. Sometimes people today, readers are like, well, where does this fit in the grand canon of things? Not everything does. Sometimes something is just like an entertaining one-shot.
Right.
I mean, you know, Dynamite's done a ton of these entertaining one-shots, two-shots, or whatever. Not everything, you know, it's kind of like, I almost feel like I need to tell people, take a breath and enjoy the books.
Right.
You know, don't worry if this happens before or after. There was a conversation about Star Trek and Green Lantern, and if that came before or after the Spectrum War. And I'm like, maybe just enjoy
the storyline.
Enjoy the story and then move on.
So Star Trek Doctor Who, Assimilation 2, number 8, with the DF exclusive cover. We have 3 tonight at $19.66. So also comes with certificate of authenticity. So AR, what do you see coming up, or what do you see in the last couple of weeks that's been hot?
As far as just book wise?
Yeah, just book wise, or anything
well,
that comes to mind. You tell us.
Yeah, what does our audience need to know?
Well, for me, like I know you mentioned like speculation videos earlier. I think the last time I actually made a spec video was in December of last year. It's just, I don't know. Even the books that I did like spec on, they were actually series I was currently reading. And I said, hey, if anyone's interested, I feel like this is going to take off, or this character is going to take off based on this. But as far as recently, I mean, what ifs, those are obviously hot. I love what ifs. I actually pre-ordered the omnibus for that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who don't like it, but I don't know. It's just a cool story, like you were just talking about. Sometimes just enjoy the story, and that's all that really is.
Yes, and I always enjoyed them because, I mean, you know, a alternate. Well, I mean, it's the birth of the alternate universe.
That was one of the things that two things that changed my life with alternate universes was before I read comics, I was a Star Trek fan as a real little kid. My favorite Star Trek episode was Mirror Mirror because it was an alternate universe. It's for people that don't know the episode names, it's the one with Spock with the beard, where they're all evil.
Right.
And my mind was blown
one of my
by
favorite
this.
favorite.
And then
episodes.
a couple of years later, you know, I'm at the spinner rack, and there's What If Volume 1 there. What if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? And people who'd read the Fantastic Four reprints knew there was that period of time where they considered adding Spider-Man.
Right.
And it didn't work out. Well, in this book, it, you know, put forward maybe in this world it did. And it opened up this massive sort of floodgates. What If is up to what now? Volume 4, Volume 5. What If is on Disney Plus. They're talking about what if versions of characters appearing in future Avengers movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know where it can go.
It's, you know, what if is getting the treatment, right? Marvel and Disney decide they're going to push something, whether it be Guardians of the Galaxy or the Avengers or whatever. And when they're in, they are all in. And, you know, like AR said, what if is just kind of cool? You know what I mean? It frees you from all that, you know, where does it fit in continuity? Right. It's just, you know, it doesn't. They're telling you flat out. There's another, you know, it's another reality. What if examine some of the really cool things that you saw re-examined later, like, you know, Conan, Red Sonja, and the modern world, you know what I mean? Now you've got, you know, the Savage Avengers, which has Conan. It really opened a door for all these ideas that I think wound up just sitting on notepads and never went anywhere.
Yep.
Do we have one more Star Trek book?
We do have one more Star Trek book. And I really particularly enjoyed this. I understand a lot of Trek fans.
Was Green Lantern your favorite, or was it Nick's favorite?
No, Green Lantern is my favorite. Nick's favorite's the Flash.
Oh, that's right.
This is Star Trek Green Lantern.
Like adult men should be talking about this. But anyway.
Spectrum War #1. This is just a really cool idea, man. This is
That's one time by Jay-Z?
Yes.
All right, so we have Star Trek Green Lantern, Spectrum War #1, Dynamic Forces exclusive, pure. We call them vegan covers to make sure we don't get flagged by YouTube, AR. So when you say vegan, we're not talking. John and I, we're not vegans.
That's
not that there's a problem with that, but no, we definitely are not vegans. We'll get to the cheesesteaks in a minute because I know you guys are those.
After the cheesesteak comments, you're definitely not vegans.
Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. Believe me. I've seen cheesesteaks, or what they call cheesesteaks, in other part of the country.
They try. I used to be a lot harsher. Now I try to be at least somewhat kind.
You must be getting older. So Dynamic Forces pure vegan art cover by Jay Lee. Suggested retail is $49.99 tonight. We have 3 for $19.66. And obviously to commemorate Star Trek in 1966.
And I'll tell you right now, the last time I saw one of those in the wild, the ask for it was $70.
And no, AR, we have no idea what this wild John keeps referring to. Like, I just picture this forest of comics hanging everywhere as he runs through them, picking up his books.
If you are looking for, and I'm sure every YouTube show to deal with comics talks about this, you have to be a savvy buyer out. You know, if you go to a show, if you go to a con, you know, if you go to some warehouse sale or something, you have to sort of know what you're dealing with a little bit. Comic Book Men did multiple episodes on this where, you know, somebody comes in and they're like, this book is worth $50. and Walt Flanagan's got to be the one to say to whom. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to kind of know a little bit. I mean, that particular book caught my eye a while back, and the ask was $70, and I remember thinking, I better start doing shows for Dynamite so I get that at a much better price.
That's the other crazy thing.
What's that? Say that again.
That's the other crazy thing is what you just said. To who? Like, who is this book worth this much money to?
Yeah.
And even I went to the Oklahoma just had their own little Comic-Con, I think 2 weeks ago or weekend ago. And it was a lot of fun, but there were a lot of books there that were all an insane amount of money. And it was Shang-Chi, first appearance, and other massive characters right now. Just that's what's really selling. And that's what everyone's going there for. And my thought is if you're really going to buy that at the peak of the hype, like Shang-Chi's about to come out, if you're paying for the first appearance right now, you are paying absolute top dollar. And for what reason? Do you actually like Shang-Chi? Do you want the book so you can say you have it? So, because if you just want it, I mean, yeah, you got the money, you can spend the extra money. But in reality, that book's not worth that much money.
No, you know what? You bring up a good point. I mean, what's happening now is the pandemic obviously put a fire under the collectibles market. And it's not just comic books, obviously, like sports trading cards,
statues. I see are
statues, just
now.
Anything that's collectible. It's just shot through the roof. I mean, It's amazing. I mean, it's not just usually with anything, whether it be comic books or trading cards or sports memorabilia, whatever the case may be. Usually, when something sells, you see a 12 to 18 month lag time before you see another price bump. But because of the pandemic, everything just started I guess you're stuck in your house. What else do you do? You start going through your collection that you've ignored for 15, 20 years, and you start pulling, oh, look, I didn't know I had that.
How many times have we seen a piece of original art be $1,100 or $1,200, and then we have a conversation about it, and then we check a month later, and now it's selling for $2,000, and we're like, wait a minute, do I misremember that? No.
Yeah, I mean, I think you bring up a good point, AR, and if you want to elaborate on it, is that buy what you like. Okay,
yeah.
If you're buying it for speculation purposes, well, that's your prerogative. I mean, those that have comics that are shooting up in value, I'm sure they're not very disappointed. But but ultimately, if you're a comic book collector, listen, it's a lot more fun than investing in stocks and bonds. Nobody's ever fallen in love with a stock or a bond.
Nobody sits in their office and reads their stock.
Yeah, I know, right? They're like, oh, look on page 2. Look, this is the disclaimer. Nobody ever falls in love with that kind of investment vehicle. So you have that opportunity with comics, but don't buy something because you think in 6 months to a year that suddenly it's going to shoot in value. Buy what it is that you like, and
this way
happens to shoot in value. Great.
If it doesn't shoot in value, you still have something you like. Being a speculator, and I also say this too, being a collector is more fun. Being a speculator is like a job. Because now I have to watch trends, I have to do research, I have to start watching shows, I have to actually know what I'm doing. And it's the same with everything. Every day you see this on social media. Somebody jumps into Bitcoin or something, and they're all excited, but they didn't really do the research.
No, you're right.
And then you see them a month later, and they've lost money, and they're bitter. And I'm like, well, I'm not saying you don't have a right to be upset, but did you really do the research, or did somebody just tell you, click here and buy this?
When Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was really hot, this was back in 2017 when it peaked past 16. Everybody's asking me, and I like everybody else, I just FOMO, so I bought some, and people ask me, well, what is it? And I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not sure. I'm going to Google it, though, but I'm not really sure.
I'm going to find out.
I have since become somewhat more educated, but I mean, it's like anything else. So I was taking a wild stab in the dark. Not saying you should do the same with comics, but really, if you're doing it for speculation, that's certainly everybody's prerogative. You can certainly do that, but you're going to have a lot less fun than if you're buying titles that you follow, that you read. Obviously, we have John on the show because he is a huge Dynamite fan, and why would we have anybody else on the show, right? John. And all we do, it's like at the zoo. We just give him some comics, and then he goes home and comes back to the next show.
It's the truth. I've been reading Dynamite comics since 2004. And I went back and I bought pretty much everything the last year and a half. Every once in a while, I'll mention something that almost Nick forgets he's published.
He's like a walking advertisement for us. I think,
you don't remember Thunder from 2007?
I want to get him one of those sandwich board things so he can walk around wherever he goes with Dynamite logo on it.
And that's when you say read what you love, because I mean I picked both these up today, Army of Darkness and Kiss.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were fantastic. I grew up listening to Kiss. I got a shirt on today too for it. I grew up watching all the Army of Darkness movies. It's I saw the comics and it's a must-have.
That's awesome. I mean, it's always nice to hear that people are
the
picking up
chin
our
is
titles.
in. I love Bruce Campbell, man.
I
love everything he does. I'm always bugging Nick for a Briscoe County Jr. comic.
He seems like such a nice guy too.
He does, doesn't he?
I've met him at cons, and he really when he was in San Diego a couple of years ago, he had like a back spasm or something, and he insisted on them bringing him down to. I guess Army of Darkness was premiering on Stars, I think it was. And he insisted on being there, even though that guy, you could tell, that guy was in pain. And they got him in this weird kind of position so he could meet people and sign stuff. And I'm like, man, I got to tell you, if I was a celebrity, that might have been the day I called out of work.
One of my most favorite roles that he played, and I'm hoping that I get it right, that he was in that. But remember that movie Sky High?
Oh yeah, he played Coach Boomer.
Yeah, he was gym teacher man.
He's gym teacher man. Sidekick.
I love him, but you're absolutely right. I mean, he does seem like a really nice guy. So all right, let's do this last one.
This last one before we have to go to probably our first break, right, Kyle?
Yep. So Star Trek Passage to Moab. This is a book and record set from 1975. We have just the one.
I'm not too proud to admit I've owned several of these.
So have I. And AR is definitely too young to remember this. Yeah. I remember playing it on my little 45 that would close up in a suitcase. Remember that? So we have this tonight at $19.66 again to celebrate the year that Star Trek came out. But oh man, I had a ton of these. It was put out by Power Records. What was Peter Pan Records? Yep. First they started off with Disney ones, and I look at AR and I realized you didn't even have a record player growing up, did you?
No, I tell people what a Viewmaster is, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, I know.
Oh, man. So, and we have that tonight, Star Trek, and I think that brings us to our first break. AR, stick with us. We're gonna ask you about that con in Oklahoma that you went to. So, Kyle, take us to break,
we should be back in 3 minutes, everybody.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Cool, thanks. Hey, and we're back.
We're back.
We're back with AR Comics. our special guest tonight, who is carved out a little bit of time to join us tonight, and we appreciate it.
Well, after like 6 months, we had to get someone that actually knew what they were talking about, not just us.
Well, not everybody will work for Dynamite Comics. I mean, when I say Dynamite Comics, I don't mean as an employee. I mean just as in recompensation. Like, here's a comic, John. Here's a comic.
You know what? I let you sit in my office, which is this open space against the wall.
So tell us, AR, you said you went to it because we've been talking about, I haven't been to a con in a really long time. I know John, who was a frequent attendee.
Yeah, I went to cons pretty much.
Back.
And this is the first time since probably the late 80s I haven't been to a con in 2 years in a row. I usually hit one con a year, at least one con a year. Usually something close to home and then San Diego. I have not done anything since 2019, and that's sort of.
So tell us a little bit about the con that you went to in Oklahoma. How was it? How were the crowds? Were there a lot of creators out there? And
to be honest, it's not as big as you would hope it to be. Like, I'm planning on hopefully going home for the New York Comic Con, assuming it doesn't get canceled. I think I'm going to be flying back for that. It's typically usually on the smaller side. I think it's called Uncanny Comic Expo. Gotcha. This year, I thought was a lot bigger than 2 years ago. There's a lot more artists there. There's a lot of more Oklahoma-based artists, I think, and a lot of smaller people like that. I don't think they had any bigger celebrities. If I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I don't think they had anyone bigger there this year. There was a lot of tables. A lot of the bigger tables were the typical comic shops that are kind of known in the area. I think one of the big ones was Deadlift Collectibles. They always have so much cool stuff. There's a couple I've never heard of before, but they were pretty big too. But it's crazy to go there and walk around. I like to do a loop, and like I said, it's not too big. It was in a casino this year, in just kind of their just kind of their area where they would host things. And I did my loop, and it's crazy to see everyone just walking around on their phone on Key Collector. And they're looking this up, and you can see them flipping back and forth, and they're all just standing there. And it's like, come on, is this really what you're doing?
A little bit.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff there. And I've never been to a big one. Like, I've never been to New York, C2E2, or San Diego. So to me, it's always cool to see that. And a lot of these artists, it's all, smaller people, but they have so much cool homemade stuff. It's like their own paintings. I bought a Gengar Christmas ornament from someone.
Oh, cool.
And there's so much cool stuff to be there. And you're just on your phone flipping through Key Collector. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a lot of people.
You're right, though. Even a couple of years ago, I noticed everyone's looking on their phone, and like Mark Wade goes walking by, and everybody but me misses it because I'm watching the panel let out, and here goes Mark Wade, and everybody misses it. So I go over to ask him a question, and people are like, why is he talking to that guy? And I'm like, because you guys were all looking at your phones, and I happen to notice that Mark Wade came by.
And a lot of times they might not even know who that is. They're literally there to look up key books, get a deal on it, and flip it. They're not there to enjoy the experience, the time to be there. Happens once a year, and that's literally how you're going to spend it, is just nose deep on your phone.
Yeah, I think you touch on a bigger problem in society as a whole. I mean, almost everybody is constantly. You go anywhere, you walk the streets of New York City. What's everybody doing? Their face is down on the phone.
Yeah, everybody. Even on the beach, I'm like, you're out on the beach. We've had some nice days here before the hurricane came, and there's people like with a ball cap on and their phone, and I'm like, it's a beautiful 80-degree day by the ocean, and you're looking at your phone. It's just a little bit weird.
It's more than a little bit weird. But I mean, you bring up a good point, and these people are kind of missing the experience of going to a con, is to see all the neat stuff, to see those small vendors where you picked up the Christmas ornament, to see those ideas kind of branch out, and see the cosplayers. How are you going to see the cosplayers if your head's buried in a phone? And
that's one of my favorite things of the con. I love the cosplayer contests because they have now amateur and professional. And some of the
work that obviously has gone into
I've been doing this for 3 years, and I'm just
thinking, whoa, dude, I don't have that kind of patience. There's no way I'm doing that. There's something on TV I haven't seen yet. Although this year it's getting a little sketchy.
Somebody did a Flash cosplay in 2019, and it was literally like, I guess they molded the suit, and it takes two people to get him into it, and he was just walking around the con. And he looked amazing, but this represented 3.5 years of work molding plastic pieces, because he looked like a comic book superhero. And he's like, oh, let me be honest, I work out, but no, you know what I mean? I'm not jacked or whatever, and they put in all this work and effort. And he's like, as much as I love being here, he's like, I really love getting back to my room and getting out of this thing.
So Ron's joined us, but apparently Ron's wife has put him on probation. Okay.
Well, maybe we're going to put Ron's wife on probation.
Okay, no, I'm pretty sure she's tougher than all of us put together. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, she, as we determined from the last show, she has a stun gun now.
We're going to give her three no's a week.
When Ron tries to buy stuff, she can stun him suddenly.
We'll give her 3 no's a week, and everything else Ron.
Make sure she doesn't get that charge wrong, Ron. You don't want that charge to be too high, when you get stunned. But Ron, just to catch you up, we have a special guest, AR Comics, a YouTuber who gives reviews and just drops knowledge about comic books as a whole. Very popular station. Hey, Sheldon, how you doing, buddy? And so I encourage anybody that has questions about particular issues, anything comics in general.
People who actually want to know about comics and not just hear us talk for 2 hours, I would absolutely suggest you check out
My mom always told me I have a beautiful voice. So I don't know what you're talking about. So I encourage you to ask your questions through chat because AR can see them as well. So yes, we did decide to bring somebody who actually knows stuff on the show as opposed to the two babbling idiots.
Oh, and this is probably a good point to bring this up too. We asked people to put the comments in the chat. If as throughout the show as we're showing books, if there's something you like, claim it. Kyle will throw up a link because there always seems to be, how do I do this? How do I get these books? Right. Kyle posts a link, you hit it, there's a submission form, pretty basic, then Rex gets your books out.
Yep.
It's pretty straightforward.
So at some point Kyle will also throw up the link for AR's
I hate to be this guy, but I'd put up the link if we sold some books.
So
there's some stuff in there I want to buy, and you guys are just talking.
I don't.
Wow,
can't do anything about Ronald.
Our producer's taking a shot at Ronald for not
buying
buying books.
Some woman's hovering over.
Wow, that's terrible.
Some woman's hovering over me with a stun gun. Guess what? I'll do whatever she says.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if it's this book, I'll take the shot because
I love
this book. This is one of my favorite things Dynamite has done, and people have heard this before, but Mark Lamming cover, written by Jeff Parker, art by Evan Shaner. A good buddy of mine just started rereading this again. This is Flash Gordon number 1.
Already?
No, we didn't. All we've done is Star Trek so far.
No. Didn't I give you one from before?
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't know how many of these we have.
Flash Gordon, number 1, high in black and white, ultra limited edition. We have 1. And this is one of our perfect 10 reads at $10. So suggested retail of $100. This ultra limited edition cover, Flash Gordon number 1, we have tonight for $10.
That's awesome.
So
he actually, the actor, he was just in Oklahoma. He went to a couple different comic shops recently to do signings. I wasn't there for it, but mainly because I didn't have anything to get signed. But man, if I would have had that, was awesome.
Oh man, you should have called us. We would have sent you. If we had Flash Gordons, not this one. Tonight we only have this one, but I'm sure we had other Flash Gordon titles in the future. Let us know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely send you a comp. So what do you want to do next?
Why don't you run back and get King's Quest and put them in a...
I was talking to AR, not you.
Oh, all right.
I keep eyeing up those Fantastic Fours down there too.
Should we?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's do a Silver Age book.
Yeah, let's do a Silver Age book.
Nick loves when I get my hands onto these.
What did you say earlier? When John touches the Silver Age books, they become
tarnished silver.
They become tarnished silver.
This is Fantastic Four, Volume 1, 34.
All right, so hold on. I got to find it on my sheet. All right, so Fantastic Four number 34. We have tonight for $85. It is a presumed grade of 5.0. And like all the vintage books that we bring, we have 1.
We have 1. The grades are presumed, which means these have not gone out to CGC or whatever. We're using our best objective knowledge of the market and the book.
Yeah, and we tend to be conservative, so
it could come back lower, it could come back higher. It's always important to stress that it's an estimate. It's presumed.
Yes, exactly. So you know
another
what?
one.
Let's hold on before you do those. Let's do this real quick. Let's do get this through the 10 books for.
Oh God, not again with this.
Yes, it's a great deal, and
This is
I
actually
want to
a great
increase
deal.
the brethren that your brethren that are Dynamite followers.
I like being the only one who reads.
Well, I care.
Now, for that Fantastic Four, I had to double check because I thought it was a first appearance, but it is first appearance of Greg Gideon. It says it's a wealthy businessman who used his fortune to vex the Fantastic Four, and there's also a first appearance of Thomas Gideon. So, I mean, for what was that, $85? 2 first appearances for an early Silver Age Fantastic Four. That's a pretty solid deal.
And that's why we like AR, dropping knowledge.
Well, you know what? It's the kind
I had
of
to
thing
double
where-
check though.
That's
I
okay.
didn't know.
You didn't even have to admit that. Nobody knows.
No, but it gives context, though. You know what I mean? Because we've talked about this. We have like a lot of newer and first-time collectors,
Right.
and they're not, as an entry-level collector, maybe $80 is a lot of money. Maybe it's way more they can afford. So to give context to what they're paying for really helps.
Right. So, this particular set is the Dynamite 10-pack reader set. Basically, 10 random Dynamite titles. And cover price, if you bought all of them at cover price, it would be $40. But tonight we have this readers pack for $5, and we have 7 of them available. No guarantee on the titles that you're going to get, but they will be 10 Dynamite books for $5. So basically, you're getting them for what, 50 cents a book?
Yeah.
There you go. I didn't even need a calculator, Tom.
Well, the point here is to get people. I joke around a lot about this, but yeah, a lot more people should be reading these books.
Yeah.
Because I hear it all the time. I hear it in cons. I hear it in stores. I hear it at shows. I really wish this was out there. That was out there. And I'm like, well, it is. It is out there. I read it all the time.
Right.
And, I wind up having to bust out my phone. Perfect example. Someone said something about, I absolutely love the character Ozymandias. We're waiting to get into a panel. All these people for Watchmen are like, I love Ozymandias, but they don't do enough with the character. And I'm like, you probably want to be reading Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, because that's a character that's more Ozymandias than Ozymandias. And Peter Cannon is the character that Alan Moore based Ozymandias off of when there was that whole sort of Charlton DC deal or whatever during the creation of that book.
So which one did you want to do? You had a book before I pulled out here. I'll do it. There you go.
Let's see. I forget what I was going to grab now. I forget what I was going to grab.
At our age, our memory retention is a problem.
No, I think I'm going to grab
mine.
Go for it.
another Silver Age book. I mean, there are people who are kind of relying on shows like this to fill in gaps in their collection.
Yes.
Silver Age, Bronze Age. This is Fantastic Four, Volume 137.
So you picked up 37.
Yeah.
All right. So Fantastic Four, number 37, we have for $80 tonight with a presumed grade of 5.5.
That's really a nice looking book. What I really like about this book is, not that I'm the biggest Jack Kirby expert, but most of what Kirby did is fairly bright. Every once in a while, Kirby would kind of take decide he hadn't used any purple ink or, whatever. And he worked in black and white, but the inker would get distorted. I mean, if you look at this, it's essentially underground. The primary color here is like a deep purple. Really cool.
Nice.
I mean, you just don't see that a lot.
So should we do a remark?
That one's also got a first appearance in it as well. So
Nice.
So
that
both,
one's
very
both
good.
of them have first appearances in them. And I mean, Fantastic Four, you asked earlier about what's hot, what's specking on. I mean, Fantastic Four is Fantastic Four. If you can get anything in the first 50, I mean, those are all going to be hot books at some point. They're all just going up as it is. There's not enough people out there that I think actually read the Fantastic Four. They're just, Marvel MCU hasn't done anything with it. So
Yeah.
in a lot of newer comic book heads, a lot of newer readers, there's no reason for someone that's brand new to the whole hobby to really hop on the Fantastic Four.
It's true, because the previous incarnation of Marvel sold Fantastic Four to Fox. And let's be honest, those movies were not
That's part of the
good.
problem is if
So
at
anybody that knows the Fantastic Four, they're terrible movies.
They were pretty bad.
They've had 3 shots at this, and
Right.
all 3 of them have not
at
been
some
good.
point, Disney will make a decent Fantastic Four movie. I mean,
yeah,
by
it's
act,
coming.
I
Well,
can't
they've
believe
already
stumped.
added the social media accounts for it. Once
Yeah.
Disney and Marvel add the social media account, we're off and running.
I mean, it's I don't know how they can keep messing it up, but at some point somebody's going to come out with a decent Fantastic Four movie, and that's when you're really going to see the popularity start to skyrocket, and you're going to see certainly back issues, but it's going to revive obviously the title.
The essence of this character is set in the space age of the 1960s. Jack Kirby channeled a lot of Challengers of the Unknown, which is a 1950s book he did for DC. Right. Reused some of those story ideas in the Fantastic Four in the 60s.
Right.
I think in order to make the Fantastic Four work, you have to set the movie in the 60s. You have to set the movie during the space race.
That's a good point.
I think if you set it before, if you set it after Captain America, but before, help me out here, Iron Man, you have about a 30-year gap of nothing. And essentially you can place the Fantastic Four in the 60s, and the government puts a lid on it because they don't want people to know if you go into space without the proper shielding, you get hammered by cosmic rays and you get superpowers.
Right.
And I think you can sort of tie in the whole, did we really go to the moon, conspiracy theory, Area 51, homemade rocket ships. I think there's a lot there that did not get used.
I would agree with you.
You know what I mean? The last movie they did was and I guess I understand what they said. It was very loosely based on the Ultimate Fantastic Four. That's a stretch.
Yeah.
It's basically 4 very young people kind of going to another dimension, getting powers. I'm like, these are awful takes on an amazing property.
Why don't we blow through the rest of the
Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Sure, I like that idea.
Yeah, we're
This is Fantastic Four Volume 1, 35. One of my favorite Silver Age characters on here, Dragon Man, is on the cover.
That's his first appearance too.
Is it?
Yep.
So everyone we've shown has been a first appearance of somebody or another. So Fantastic Four number 35. We have tonight for $85 with a presumed grade of 4.0.
That's really
That is nice. And then the last one's 38 that we have available tonight. So Fantastic Four number 38. We
Frightful
have
Four
for $90 tonight with a presumed grade of 5.0.
Medusa's original crew before the Inhumans in comics.
That one's also first appearance. So all 4 of them have a nice first appearance in them.
So basically they'll be here available all night if somebody views the show after the live broadcast. If anything is still available, of course we will honor the prices that you see on air tonight. Let's see. What do you want to do next? Should we do a graded book? We have this whole.
Do we have a Remark book? Or
we have the stuff. You know what? Yes, we do have Remark.
We do have a Remark book. I feel like. Do we have the person who did this art, this Mariano Nicieza? Is he in the building?
I think he bounced.
No, I think he's still here for change.
Well, then he's going to bounce now. He heard his name mentioned.
Star Wars Han Solo #1, signed and remarked by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato. Really nice.
Man, that's fantastic.
So Star Wars Han Solo #1, signed and remarked by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato. We suggested retail is $99.99, and we have it tonight for $49.99, and we have the one. But like with all remarks, and we'll have some more tonight. We only have one, and I don't know. AR, we've talked about remarks, John and I, a lot. We're big fans of Ken Hazer stuff, the remark books, but not sure if it's something you've covered in your videos or.
Not as much. To be honest, I don't have a lot of signed books. I think the only 2 I have, well, I've got a couple from Al Ewing for Immortal Hulk. Okay. But then I have Clayton Crane on, I think it's Venom 27. It's such a sweet cover. It's just, it's black with Venom with the flag draped over him. I got that one signed in person. But I'm a big fan of the remarks.
We see it as a bridge. Well, not even a bridge.
It's almost like a meeting point. It's a common ground between original art and commission and collectible and a signature. You know what I mean? Like it checks all those boxes.
Yeah,
it's a variant, because it's usually a blank or in some cases a black blank.
Yeah, and it's built its own collector base. There are people that buy a lot of remarks. our buddy Ron, who joins us almost every show. He's a big collector of remarks when his wife doesn't have him on lockdown, hovering over him with the stun gun. Ron just put something up on chat every now and again, so we know you're all right. But
give us a thumbs up.
Just give us a thumbs
not,
up.
Give us the lightning bolt symbol.
All right. My wife agrees with AR. So, but we see it as a really kind of unique, as John said, kind of a commission piece, if you will. So, what do you want to do next?
You know what? We've been looking at these. I cut some static last week. Because I said Batman is overexposed. So let me be clear to the people.
You notice I didn't back you up, right?
No, let me be clear to the people who are watching this week. I'm absolutely right. Batman is overexposed. I'm sorry. That being said, we have a...
And now John's phone is blowing up.
I know. My phone, the middle finger emojis will be on Twitter in about 10
It's vibrating
minutes.
so much, it's falling out of his pocket.
This is we're having some fun here, but these are no joke. The grades on these, this is Batman Death of the Family. We have the whole set. Starlin, Aparo, DeCarlo. These are like Hall of Fame Batman creators.
So this is a
Nice.
4-book set. Death in the Family, signed by Jim Starlin, CGC graded, with obviously the yellow tag, the signature series. So not only has the grade been authenticated by CGC, but the autograph, the signature has also been authenticated. So the 4-book set we have includes Batman number 426, CGC 8.0, Batman number 427, CGC 9.2,
Magnolia covers,
Batman number 428, CGC 8.5, and Batman number 429, CGC 9.2. And all 4 books have been signed by Jim Starlin, and we have the entire set tonight for $1,000. And this is another one of those items where we can do a payment plan for you, half up front, half to 30 days, to help a collector who may want to add this to their collection.
$1,000? Are you out of your mind? I'm just saying what I know people are.
This is perfect for you, Ron.
You're trying to get him.
I'm going to get him
Sorry,
stunned.
man.
Yeah, his wife's watching right over his shoulder. She's stunning him right now.
You're trying to get Ron. Log off.
I know.
Buddy.
I can't.
Poor guy.
I'm
man.
sorry, Ron. Mrs. Ron. I was just kidding.
Mrs. Ron.
Don't stun him. He's a good guy.
What is going on here? But yeah, we try to hit different price points. Air talks about it on his show all the time.
Yes.
Investing in comics, speculating in comics. This is obviously on the higher end.
Yeah,
if you're going to drop $1,000,
yeah,
you want to get something that's going to hold its value. Starlin signatures on CGC's graded copies of A Death in the Family. That's probably something to take a chance on. The value of that's probably not going to be going down.
Yeah.
As the years go by.
Yeah, even though Batman's overexposed.
He is overexposed, but
that's a well-known series too, though.
Text him. Don't text me.
Oh, you know what? I had somebody in my DMs, and they were just like, "You should have them edit out your Batman comments."
Yeah, like we can do stuff like that.
I was gonna take a screen grab.
This is Wayne's World, man. Get out of here.
Kyle, hey Kyle, can you remove this in post?
I mean, we can't even do the Wayne's World zoom in, zoom out thing.
Yeah, we have to just move forward and go back.
Yeah, I know. That's why John always keeps moving up with the comics. That's the best we can do.
We still have some time.
Well, hit something else. What else do you want to hit?
This is a very cool book.
What'd you pick up there?
This is Dr. Specter number 4. This is just a. I don't know if there's any cover that sort of
That's an awesome cover.
exemplifies what Dr. Specter is, like this kind of weird, kind of psychedelic cover. This is just really cool.
So Dr. Specter number 4, high-end Ward vegan limited edition cover.
Yeah.
Suggested retail of $100, and this is another one of our perfect 10 reads at $10.
I figured I'd give people a chance after the $1,000 price tag. I'd give people a chance to kind of recover. For $10, that's just a sweet pickup. Robert Castro does the interior art. Of course, it's written by Mark.
Roberto.
Oh, did I say it wrong?
I guess I got to come on the air.
I'm sorry.
Come on the air.
I'm sure Rex would rather have you in the chair, sir, than me.
No, I'm checking out. I'm checking out. You're staying.
Checking out.
So are you coming right now, or?
No. You guys got it till the break.
No, he's having his dinner.
Well, I want to have dinner too.
My
So,
pizza showed up.
hey, so AR, so
boy.
you're gonna obviously you're talking about coming home, try to hit New York Comic Con, maybe visit your family. I know you're from the Philadelphia, the greater Philly area.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you're gonna hit some cheesesteaks and some roast pork sandwiches, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan.
Are we going down that road again?
Well, I mean, he's from this area, and now he's out in Oklahoma, so it's a little, I can't imagine him making good cheesesteaks, Nikki. I don't know. I'm just, not to insult the state or anything, but I mean, come on. You got to be from the Northeast to make it right. You got to be from Philly to really make it right. So go ahead, hit it. We got time for one more.
Cool, man. I saw this up there. I would have grabbed this earlier if I did. This is a Paulo Rivera variant of SpiderMan 800.
Nice.
I gotta find out my list.
At least you got his name right.
That's what happens when you randomly grab stuff, man. I get lost.
Well, it caught my eye because I didn't really notice it. I was kind of checking out the Star Trek stuff, and all of a sudden I wasn't 100% sure if we had that whole set for Batman.
Here it is. Okay. Amazing Spider-Man number 800, Rivera variant, CGC graded 9.6.
Yeah.
So we have one. Suggested retail $89.99, and we have this for $62 for 1962. Amazing Fantasy number 15, the year Spidey first appeared. So we have this for $62, and we have the one, so you're guaranteed to get the CGC 9.6. Now,
I mean, that is just so cool. I mean, if you take a second and look at just Spider-Man's web line, I don't know if I've seen anybody else do the web line. Like every artist sort of has their, their take on it. Is it a line? Is it this? It's that. Rivera's kind of take on the webbing is just, it's very, very cool. It's almost like,
do you see what Dave and Ronald wrote?
What?
Ronald, my wife just heard Nick's voice. I'm in for it now.
Man.
Turn the volume down, Ron.
Dude, do you not have
if you watch YouTube, you can do the closed captioning. So let's see what Dave respond. Well, you're gonna have to mute it, Ron. I think he's coming on for a bit after we come back from the break. So you're gonna be in big time trouble, buddy.
Now this one might be a little bit of a stretch because that was 800. So that's the first full appearance of Normie Osborn as, they said, the Goblin Child. So I don't know if either of you kept up to date with the Venom run, but Normie played a decent role in that run, mainly just being, a little bit earlier in the run, kind of more friends close to Dylan Brock's kid or Eddie Brock's kid, Dylan, my bad. But Dylan's going to be playing probably a big role maybe in the next Venom run. So depending on what they do with the next Spider-Man run too, the way that things are going, that's how I think things are going, is they're aiming more towards the younger generation. Young Avengers, they got a Kamala Khan show coming out, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. They're really trying to hit on these kids to try to grow with that. So if Dylan Brock is going to be playing a big role, you never know where Normie's going to go. So that could be a big book down the line. You never know with that. And that is the variant too.
No, that's a very good point. I mean, certainly we try to keep up, but obviously we're not as knowledgeable as you are. So, we got to go to break. So we'll be back in a little bit here. Nick will be jumping on for a bit. So you guys can talk. And Emmy Comics, thanks for joining us, buddy. So Kyle, if you would, take us a break, please.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit ComicShopLocator.com today.
back. That's too funny.
Yeah, is it too funny?
It was
funny.
funny.
All right, we got some really good stuff going on tonight. I wanted to chime in real quick because this is a lot of fun. I want to thank AR for coming on the air tonight. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for having me.
Nah, man, listen, you're a great ambassador for comics, and that is so important to me to have people that are positive reinforcements for comics. I think that's the best thing in the world, and having someone like you, you know, we complement each other, and we can have fun, and we can really just rock and roll and have a great time. We've got a lot tonight, and I think Nick did it again. He overloaded the show. Nick overloaded the show. We've got so many cool things, and there's a lot to get to. This is like the Dagwood sandwiches of collectible comics to show. So what do we got here? You know what I think we're going to do just for the fun of it? Just because Ronald and Dave are here and they're putting in their digs, we're going to do something special in a minute, in addition to reminding everybody, in honor of AR being here, every single person, limit one per customer, will get a collectible Jenny Frizen card from the Red Sonja 45th Anniversary Trading Card Series. So these are cool collectibles. They are 3+ years old. Jenny Frizen art from the Gail Simone run. So, AR, thank you for being here. You having fun so far?
Absolutely. You got some awesome books, and I was going to compliment on Jenny Frizen's artwork because of the cards. Her artwork is incredible. I love her covers. Everything she did with Something's Killing the Children, they always are like just, I was going to say they always kill it, but I didn't want to make that pun. I did it anyway.
Well, you know when it's true, right?
Yeah.
When it's true. So she is killing it. So Richard Ship is back in the house. Richard, Emmy, you and I got to talk. You keep chiming in, but you have not claimed anything yet. We got to change that. So we're going to do something a little bit different than we were predicting to do.
Not comments? Are we going straight to pizza?
Everybody who claims anything tonight, and you'll be billed. Rex will make sure I do my job, and you'll be billed tomorrow. Okay? Anyone who acquires and claims anything tonight will get an extra 10% off the purchase.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to do that across the board. So let's start with, so the Spider-Man was $62?
Yep.
All right. So, and we only have one of these. So this was $62, which means this is now going to be $51.80, give or take.
Yeah.
Sound about right? So my wife can fling the card into my coffin. Well, Ronald, that would mean you have to buy something.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, Ronald. The Han Solo? Is this what you bought?
Ask Amy.
Amy, is it? Huh?
Yes, Han Solo.
Yeah.
Ronald, guess what? This isn't even $49.99 anymore. For you, it's now $44.99. You got 10% off. So this is retroactive. If you buy something tonight, because we want to have some fun with AR here. Listen, we are selling collectibles, obviously, and we are trying to put on the show, and we're trying to give you guys entertainment and just present great items to you. But at the same time, this is comics. And if we can give you a little bit of a better value, if we can bring a little bit more enjoyment to you, you help us do that by claiming items and letting us do this. Because all of us here, we all love comics, and we're all part of the same family. And to me, that's the most important thing. So let's see. Did I miss Flash Gordon? Richard, you did miss Flash Gordon, but we could go back to it. All right. What was the price on that?
$10. It was our perfect 10
So
rate.
I think it was 10.
Well, Richard, I guess it's $9 now. So it's a perfect 10 read at $9. So we are going to really kill it tonight. All right. So Spider-Man 800, $89.99 book, 9.6. We were special selling it for $62. It is now $55.80 if I did my math right. What else have we showed so far? Give me a few items.
All these Silver Age books.
Oh my God, that means the Silver Age books are 10% off now. All right, Rex, we're gonna need you. How much was the FF34?
FF34 was $85.
All right, $85. So Nick's going to try not to be an idiot and try and make this work. So this would be $75.50. No, $76.50. Hey, that extra dollar, $76.50 instead of
I have
85.
dollars. I brought dollars in my pocket.
Oh, you're going to cover it for some fans?
And remember, all those Fantastic Fours, they all have first appearances in them.
Every single one of these FFs have first appearances, which is so cool about these early numbers.
Yep.
So how much was the FF37?
That one was 80.
80. So this one I'm going to get right. That makes it 72. So I got that part right. And let's see.
Be careful with those, sir.
Yeah, really. I'm going to need the grabber that you were going to have. So how much
reverse
was
day?
Yeah, really. So how much was the 35? It says $85.
That one was 85.
All right, so $76.50. Got that one right. And last but not least, number 38, which I always loved this one with the Frightful Four.
Yeah.
I remember this so well because you had the wizard like spinning in the air and two of the Frightful Four find him.
You know what this ship reminded me
And then all of
of?
a sudden you friggin' meet Medusa.
The giant eye reminded me of the giant eye in Johnny Quest, and I love that thing.
He's fantastic. So the 38 was $90, so now it's $81. So, and it almost went for less.
Tarnished silver.
Now, that also means, look, we also want to get you guys reading more Dynamite books and more comics in general. So the $40 value that we were offering, $40 minimum, because some of the books may be $4.99, $5.99. This $5 package is now $4.50. So we're going to be doing that. So what else we have? What about the Dr. Specter? What's the MSRP on the Dr. Specter and on the Flash Gordon, by the way? So the Dr. Specter, which I think this was a perfect 10 read, not perfect 10 CGC. This is also $9 now. Rex, how much was the MSRP on the Flash Gordon?
Flash Gordon was...
That one was $100.
That's $100.
So $100 MSRP, perfect 10 read for $10 because we want you to read this great series by Jeff Parker, who John has a very good relationship with.
I do talk to Jeff Parker a lot on social media. He's probably more than he would prefer.
So this will be $9 tonight. So we're going to just kick it a little bit more. We're having fun, and we're having a special Star Trek day, right?
Today is Star Trek Day, hashtag Star Trek Day. You follow along on social media. There's a whole bunch of different things. Paramount Plus is doing something tonight, like 55 years of Star Trek, or whatever it was. We have some really cool Star Trek.
55 years. Wow. So this Star Trek by John Romita Sr., this is limited to 2 in the world, Silver Signature Series. This was $499.99, right?
Yes.
So this will be $450, and we will do a payment plan on this. 50% down, 50%
30 days.
in 30 days. Now, when you say favorite Star Trek character, Sean, here's the question that I have for you. Are we breaking it down by different groups of characters? Are we saying next gen and classic and Voyager and Enterprise, J.J. Abrams movies? Are we saying just in general, you need to pick one out of everybody? We need that answer to be able to give you an answer. So, right? I mean, am I wrong?
No, I mean, you have to kind of define it a little bit, because if it's an entire Star Trek universe, that's a 2-hour show.
Well, Kyle said Tribbles.
It's a lot of Star Trek.
That's a lot of Star Trek.
I don't know anything about Star Trek. That's actually like one of the few things that I just never got into.
You know what? I will tell you this. Start with the classic original series, right? Start with the classic series and look up and watch some of the most beloved adventures. If you got Paramount Plus, I think you get all of it for free anyway.
You get all of it
I
for
do.
free. You can even get Paramount Plus. I think like it's a week free.
Yeah, get a week free.
You can make it.
I have
like,
Paramount. That's a really solid app.
Yeah, there's stuff in there tonight. Like I said, they're doing their 55-year anniversary. They'll be talking about favorite episodes from the different shows, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, whatever. That's the type of thing where, you sprain an ankle, your back goes out, you have to be laid up for a few days. You just put them on and let them go, man.
That was the original with William Shatner?
Yes.
That's the original?
Yeah. I would recommend these 2 episodes, Mirror, Mirror, and City on the Edge of Forever. Watch those 2 episodes. City on the Edge of Forever was written by Harlan Ellison, and Mirror, Mirror is probably the first TV series that I can think of where you saw alternate reality, evil doppelgangers. Yeah. So, all right, Ronald says 7 of 9. Sean says it's the original series all the way, but then says, but since your book was original Star Trek, let's go with the original series. And Chip says, for me, it was Next Gen all the way. So,
well, that'll be the next thing that's getting and I don't think it's going to be J.J. Abrams.
Right.
But the next thing that will be getting the J.J. Abrams treatment will be the Next Generation. They are kind of looking at people to sort of, because they're doing Star Trek Picard now.
Right.
And they sort of are planning on reloading.
Right.
For I guess it's going to be maybe their 30th anniversary, and it'll be this thing where you have a new cast of characters.
Right.
But they're still sort of one of the things they talk.
Dave, back in the game. Come. I will say that second movie matched to the TV series so perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, that was probably the first time you saw a TV series go into a movie where the movie was directly a sequel to the TV series.
The whole thing in the story, and you're wondering why Khan is so upset. And then he looks at Chekhov and he's like, you guys left us here, right? Well, the planet you left us on blew up, the next planet. So what you thought was this lush paradise, and if you look in the back of an episode of Botany Bay, Kirk is like, this is like Australia. This is going to be a great planet for you. Well, unfortunately, the planet next door blows up, and it becomes like a desolate wasteland.
Wow.
And that's how you get to this point where Khan is just like, I don't care what it takes.
So that's the third one you should watch, okay? AR, watch that third.
Bay, yes.
Botany Bay, and then watch Star Trek 2. Those would be ideal. I did like Star Trek Generations, where Kirk met Picard.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one too.
They've done some really cool comics to expand on that a little bit. And IDW's done a nice job.
Yeah. What are you watching these days, AR?
Honestly, not as much. All right. So I recently got into anime. So that's been my new thing. Is a lot of people have been recommending anime, and I just went into it, and I've been all over it now.
That's awesome.
I do like the Disney shows. Like the Marvel ones, but I try to wait till it's pretty much over before I jump into it. So I haven't seen any What If.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, I haven't really been watching too much.
Yeah, you know what? Loki and WandaVision were so painful waiting week to week because they were so fantastic.
A lot of people are waiting now.
Yeah.
They can't.
That's what I'm doing with What If. I'm doing exactly what you're doing with What If. I'm waiting until they're all done, and I'm going to watch them all one weekend back to back.
I'll tell you this, though. If you're going to do that, you're on social media, make sure you mute things because there'll be spoilers out there.
Right.
There's guys like me who watch this thing at 4 a.m. And at 4:45, I'm on my couch tweeting about the episode that I just finished watching.
That's funny.
So I tell people, mute me or mute hashtag What If on this day.
All right. I think people want to know prices and want to know what the books are. How much is the Jay Lee Star Trek cover?
Hold on. Jay Lee.
Sean says, Kyle, I feel like the Species 8472 would be a favorite of yours. 1966, so 10% off, roughly 1776. Let's just call it 1776. That was a good year for the U.S.
That's an awesome cover too.
But it was a good year. All right, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Is this the Doctor Who one?
Yes.
How much was this?
Was that the same?
This is a simulation
I think it's
2.
the same price.
Okay, so this was also 1966. Of lots of advice. Star Trek. This has a record, and it is in really good condition. 1966, 10% off. 1776. I might be a little off on that one. All right, so we gave Ronald 10% off there. Did Ronald see the Transformers?
Did you want to do the last Star Trek one?
Oh yeah, the last Star Trek. No, I did that one first. I did the Jay Lee one. We did this earlier. Yeah, dude, I've got a rhythm.
Okay.
All right, I've got a rhythm. I don't have rhythm dancing. I don't have rhythm with anything else. But when it comes to presenting comics, I've got a little bit of a rhythm.
Hit Taji Beats. I want to see that.
Am I the only one chasing danger and claiming stuff tonight? It seems that way, Ronald. It seems that way. You know, it looks like danger's your middle name, or you know, you're not risk averse at least. All right. So the Transformers G.I. Joe. What was the price on this? MSRP is going to be $179.98. That's right. Kyle kind of is buying something if nobody else buys the Flash Gordon.
83.84.
83.84. Oh yeah, that was really cool. All right, I don't feel like doing math tonight on this one, even though I know that it is probably going to be something like $75.
$46.
I wouldn't have gotten the 46, but I got the 75. So 75.46. If you play poker and you're playing 4-card poker, that's a straight. 75.46. You got the 4, 5, 6, and 7. Sean, this is my first time watching the show, so I'm surveying. Sean, we're just having a little bit more fun tonight than we usually do. So you've got Transformers, G.I. Joe,
Dinobot on the
Dinobot. So, all right, so that brings it down to 75. What else did we do so far? I think you guys did this.
We did these. Now, these are $1,000 for the set.
Well, not anymore. It's $900 now.
Which is $900 for the set, which would really tell if someone is serious about collecting, this is your time.
So this is 50%
awesome
down, 50% within 30 days. This is Death in the Family. Now, this was a trippy time to be in comics. Yeah. This is when you actually had to pay $1 to call a 900 number to vote whether or not Robin should die. And the way I heard it was that Denny O'Neil, the editor on the book, had a really big phone bill because he wanted Robin to die.
$137 I sent to that 900 number.
Exactly. So you're getting the complete set CGC graded, but more importantly, not only are these CGC graded, and you're getting the 426 and the 429, which is the most important one on so many levels at 9.2, because that is the Death of Robin. These are all signed by Jim Starlin. These are all verified, signed by Jim Starlin.
With the yellow CGC tag.
Yep, yellow CGC tag. The man who created Thanos, who created so much of the sustenance that was in the Avengers movies, in Endgame, basically led the path to create Red Robin for Jason Todd to come back. This is historic, and I have not seen any signed copies in 9.2s. Now, 426, that's an 8.0. But 427, 9.2. Then we got 428, that's an 8.5. But then you have 429, and you got to love the Mignola cover, and that's a 9.2. So let's see. What did Dave say? Dive right in. These are great deals for super reliable people. Starlin tells a great story about that campaign. It almost went the other way. I know it almost went the other way. That's why Denny O'Neil had to start calling.
That's $137 I ever spent.
Exactly. You know, the other thing is, I will tell you one thing. I was talking to Mignola once, and I said, Mike, how did you get to draw these covers? Did you know that these would be such epic covers? He's like, Nick, believe it or not, I was walking down the hallway of the DC offices, and then he was looking for a cover artist, and he ran into me and said, hey, how would you like to draw 4 covers of the potential death of Robin? And Mike said, yeah, it sounds dark. I'll do it.
I hate Jason Todd so much, I was taking that job for free.
So $900 instead of $1,000, and 50% down, 50% in 30 days. We'll work with you, though. You know, we don't talk about Christmas anymore because I talked about Christmas in July too often. Got me in a little bit of trouble.
The snow globe had to get put away until next year.
Snow globe got put away. I can't even take it out this Christmas. Although Rex has said he has no problem with Christmas. He only had a problem with me celebrating Christmas all of July, every other day. So
Christmas tree's still up in the office.
it really, Rex, have you forgiven me yet?
Never goes down.
It wasn't that. It's when it's 900 degrees outside.
It's like the pumpkin spice latte on a 103-degree day. Now I'm good.
AR, what comics did you grow up with? What drove you in? What was your first read?
From what I can remember, it was probably either Spider-Man or Hulk. Maybe even Thor, because Thor and Hulk were my dad's favorites. Like, he is literally obsessed with both of them. So probably one of them, but I grew up loving Spider-Man. So not 100%, but probably one of those 3.
Well, and you know, John is trying to sell you on True Believers, Amazing Spider-Man #1, signature series by John Romita. This is limited to 15 in the world, silver signature, and it's a premium book. It's a very, very premium book, so not for everybody, but I believe, what's the price on this?
Which one?
$4.99.
$499.99. So tonight it would be $449.99. Again, 50% down, 50% within 30 days. And what else? So right now we've gone through the FFs, all the Star Treks,
Batman.
almost everything on this row. So what is this Shadow? So this is the Shadow Year 1, #2, high-end Alex Ross limited edition. What are we pricing this bad boy at?
1930 for the year the Shadow. What's up,
Yep,
radio?
1930.
All right, so it was 1930 for the year the Shadow appeared. So this will be like 1733. So, and this is a $100 book. So, again, our goal here tonight on some of these books with the values we're giving you is it would be awesome if you were to take the comics, even if they're collectibles. Keep in mind one thing: the Dynamic Forces and Dynamite Entertainment seal has been specifically made, unlike collectibles for sports or coins or music memorabilia, so that you could take the sticker off, take the comic out, and read the comic. And if this helps you to read another book that you enjoy, and then buy the rest of the back issues from your local retailer or the trade paperback from your local retailer, that would be the most awesome thing in the world. Because one of the reasons why we do these shows, obviously we bring some cool collectibles on the air and books to read so that you can get excited and hopefully claim some great books and enjoy them and put them in your collection. But the other thing is, and which is why we also have a variety, but the other thing is, whether it's a Dynamite book like The Shadow or it's Grayson signed by Tim Seeley, same thing. You can take the holofoil seal off. Always recommend that you take the seal, put it to the side, open up the book, and then you can read the comic. Because we want you to read all comics: Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, Dynamite, the whole gauntlet. And what we want you to do, let's say you bought this Tim Seeley book, we would love for you to read it and then buy issue 2 and up from your local retailer or the trade paperback, because we want to see more people supporting retailers, because without our local retailers, the comic industry will collapse. You know, it won't be here. So it's really, really important. Like I said, we bring the cool collectibles to you, but we do it so that we can grow the audience, and that's the most important thing. And since we're talking about Batman 75, Grayson #1, Batman 75th anniversary variant, and this was written by Tim Seeley and Tom King back in the day. This is, what year is this from? This is from 2014. So this is a 7-year-old book. And Ronald claims one of the 10 comic reader sets. Let's see. So do we know how much Grayson is?
Grayson suggested retail $29.99 and on air price of $19.40.
All right, so we were doing 1940 to commemorate 1940, the year Robin first appeared in Batman #1, but we're knocking 10% off. I'm getting tired of figuring out math. We're just going to call it 1740. Again, this is a great read. This is Tom King's basically first premiere book at DC. Obviously, he did Omega Men, fantastic. He did Vision at Marvel, fantastic. As a matter of fact, some elements of Vision were taken and put in the WandaVision TV series. But this is historically the first book he really started to get noticed. You can get it for $17.40, and hopefully you start picking up the back issues or the trades at your local retailer. And Sean says, by the way, Nick's old, so to be able to read what you say, I got to get closer to the screen. Sean says, I'm a newer reader. I didn't start until 2015, so my first comic, and I still have it, is Batman TMNT from first crossover. Nice. That's awesome, Sean.
That's a good read,
fantastic. Too. And that was a great series with great follow-up series.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite series these days, AR?
Oh, man, that's a lot.
Top 5.
Top 5. All right. Something is Killing the Children's definitely in there. That's a fantastic series. I'm going to try to split it up a little bit. So that's from Boom Studios. Eve just finished up today. I thought that was really good. Their problem is they should have kept that series going. They definitely could have built that one a lot more, but still a great series. So we got Something That's Killing the Children from Image. There's so much good stuff from Image right now, too.
There is.
There's Philadelphia, Department of Truth.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Those are all really good ones. Marvel, I'm going to be honest, I feel like is really lacking. I know Miles Morales is really good. I'm a big fan of that series. I really didn't like The Amazing Spider-Man. I think Immortal Hulk has really dropped off in the last 25 issues. I heard Daredevil's really good. I stopped reading it, but I really liked up until about 20. Got a good deal on it. I had to move on from it. But it was real good. AWA, that's a phenomenal indie publisher too. I feel like everything that they come out with I've been really enjoying. So it's hard to pick just top ones. I'd say it's probably caught between Something That's Killing Children, maybe Department of Truth.
Hey man, and this just gave all of our viewers, whether they're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or our website, it just gave everyone some books to go get. So AR with great picks. I agree, Sean.
And
so
from DC,
get a break.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then the person who takes it more chill is going to come back on the air, make everybody feel nice and relaxed again. Hyper Nikki is going to get off the air, but I really wanted to come in a little bit with AR because he graced us with being here, which is fantastic. Everybody remember tonight, if you claim anything, you will get an extra 10% off. Plus, you're going to get this collectible promo card from 3 years ago by Jenny Frizen. And Jenny's just getting more and more popular. So, Dave, you are too kind, but let's put the more intelligent, calmer person on the air after we get back from break.
Amy.
Hey, and we're back.
We are back. I'm taking a second to let the people know, the lurkers, that we do in fact have 10% off. And
We do.
They should get in here if they're serious about buying some books.
So now for the slower and calmer portion of the show.
Everybody take a nice deep breath.
So should we chant? Do you want to chant?
Oh.
So,
Nick is a high energy dude, man.
He is
That's
a high
how he
energy
can run
dude.
like
He is.
8 companies and
He
all
is.
this other stuff.
he is a high energy dude. I tend to be more of a calming energy. Would you say, John?
Yes, you are.
Again, if you just joined us, we have AR Comics tonight as our special guest. This is a man who is very knowledgeable about the world of comics. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. Does great segments on New Comic Book Day. Does great segments on what's coming up during the week. If you're a member, he has different videos that clue into things, investing in comics, CGCs, just a plethora of information. If you are definitely a new collector or even a long-time collector, AR's got something you probably didn't know. He definitely told me some stuff tonight I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
which obviously is a pretty low bar. So I'm warning you, AR.
I appreciate it all, though.
Sort of, one of the reasons when we can get guests, one of the things they do is they add that extra dimension. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, for example, contextualizing book values. You know what I mean? Like, why does this have? Why is this $80 as opposed to $40 or whatever? And I really think that helps people sort of, it helps to make a more informed decision, which
reminds me, that portion of the evening or the show, if you like what you're seeing, you're enjoying the entertainment, so to speak, definitely hit thumbs up, subscribe. When you hit AR's YouTube channel, do the same. I mean, that's how the community grows. That's how our shows grow. Again, I mean, watching AR's channel, the man has a lot of different pieces of knowledge that you may not know. He gives you an in-depth review, his top 10s, so on and so forth. But, as Nick said earlier, the goal here is to grow the community for comics. We talked about it earlier in the show about it becoming predominantly the go-to source material for most studios now. They're running out of ideas. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I hate to say it, but you look at some of these other movies that come out, especially during the pandemic. Plugs got pulled on projects which, they almost were only half-heartedly doing anyway.
Right.
Everything now wants properties. Not a blockbuster is not enough. In the beginning you did movies because they were art and they were entertainment, and then they were somewhere in the middle. And then you sort of got the idea where you had to have the big picture. That's where you have someone like Spielberg come in. And then everything had to have sequels and sequels and sequels. And now that's not even enough. It has to be as massive a property as it can be, that it's on video games and Lunchbox, and it's a cell phone cover, and it's a baseball hat. And that's what Hollywood is into. $500 million projects that are going to turn billion-dollar profits. So when a movie is like $12-13 million, Kevin Smith said it on a podcast recently, Clerks cannot get made in 2021 because the conditions under which he made Clerks in 1994 don't exist now.
Right.
You literally just could not do the things that he did. I think that when you get these things, like, every few years, Batman has almost become like the American James Bond.
Here he comes again.
No. In all seriousness.
He's going to say it.
No. Batman has become the American James Bond.
Do you need security when you leave here?
Everybody sort of, they're knocking on that door.
Right.
If you're like a fit, good-looking dude, you want to play Batman at some point in your career because it's a boost, it's money. Christian Bale said it.
So we're out, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. It's Batman on Batman for me. That's about the most I can. That's about the closest I can get. And if you ever go to a live episode of that in San Diego when Kevin Smith is doing it, it's me and about 50, 60 other fat guys.
If you're Batman, I'm Fat Old Man.
Oh, no.
So let's hit another book. What haven't you guys covered? I wasn't paying attention.
Nick covered books for the next 5 weeks. He went so fast.
All right, then we're done.
My head is still spinning a little bit.
Just chant.
One of the things that we didn't really talk a lot about is Villain of the Year, Harley Quinn's Villain of the Year. Silver Signature Series. This is signed by Mark Russell. Mark has done some really cool stuff for DC. He did a really cool Lone Ranger thing for us here at Dynamite.
So
super talented guy.
So Harley Quinn, Villain of the Year #1, Silver Signature Series, signed by Mark Russell. Suggested retail of $69.99 tonight for $19.94. But Nick is giving everybody 10% off. Notice how he waited until he came on the air himself to do the 10% thing.
Are you saying I'm a ham?
So it's
I didn't say anything.
It would be Coca-Cola.
I felt like you were saying that I was a ham.
Do you want to talk about ham sandwiches? I like ham sandwiches too.
With mustard.
So in lieu of that, I am taking the $19.94 and we're going down to $17. Okay, so I can grab some of them. I'm like, that's right. I'm doing it. What? Who's that?
T-Pain.
Okay, T-Pain, it's yours, buddy. Okay, at $17, not $17.40, not $17.45. Okay, $17 because I'm too lazy to do the math. And John's tweeting all the angry Batman fans.
No, I'm not tweeting angry Batman fans. I'm letting some people know that.
So he's saying he just tweeted, "Batman's overexposed. Fight me." Anyway.
Whoa!
It's going to be that.
You're not allowed to say exposed.
You know what? It's going to be that bad.
Somebody send me this list.
It's
this
going to be.
list.
No, you know what? It's going to be that meme where I'm going to be sitting behind the chair at the desk, and it's going to say, "Batman is overexposed. Change my mind."
That guy
you said Batman's overexposed might mean.
No, fight me.
Oh.
Listen, I want to see this list of things that we can't say because it's going to be a real short show after we see the list. We'll be done in 10 minutes.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? Here's a couple things we didn't necessarily get to.
Hit it, my friend.
The Walking Dead. You know, it's been a busy show when we finally getting to The Walking Dead in like the last 20 minutes.
The 15th anniversary edition?
This is the 15th anniversary edition, 9.8. I mean...
All right, so Walking Dead #1,
Nice.
15th anniversary edition, CGC graded 9.8. We have one. You're guaranteed a 9.8 because that's the one you're getting. And it's just a retail of $89.99. We were going out at $50, but with
$45.
The Nikki special, we are at $45.
And I'll tell you right now, this is a sweet snag for $45.
And you guaranteed a 9.8. And
yeah, there's only one. So
hey, AR, do you send books to CGC to get slabbed, or is that something you do a lot, or no?
I actually don't send my books to CGC. I send them to CBCS.
Okay, but I mean, most of these grading companies are in the same situation, just like PSA or
They are.
Beck
Yeah,
grading,
they're all
for sports
behind,
cards. Because of the pandemic and everybody's stuck at home going through their collection to try to eat up time. Are you seeing the same kind of delays in getting those back?
Yeah, it's pretty rough right now. So I sent in 17 books. The beginning of May, I shipped them out. They weren't received until I think it was May 23rd or 22nd, which I guess in reality isn't all that bad, all things considered, because CGC, things can be there for months at a time.
Yeah.
But when I did send in those books, it said it was 8 or 9 weeks turnaround time.
Wow.
So it's like, all right, that's not that bad. That's pretty bad when it was 3 to 4 weeks, but that's no problem to me. I can wait a couple extra weeks. But they still have those books, and on the website, it's updated to 17 weeks.
Wow.
It's been in labels for the last month.
So you sent it way back in May.
Sent it in May.
Wow. So about, pretty much the same as CGC. I know that PSA, the card grading company, had at one point stopped taking submissions.
Yeah, I read that. They were like, look, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good
I
for
mean,
a while.
And I think that's a logical thing to do. I mean, I understand as a company, let's keep making this money. And that's why I can't truly hate on CGC for having the signature program where they're having a new celebrity or an artist, whatever, having new signs like every week, every few days, they're having a new person. Can't fault them for wanting the money. But the problem is they're so incredibly backed up. I know friends that are posting pictures and posting things about errors that they're making because quality control is going down. And as a company, you should be able to look at that logically and say, you know what? maybe we stop taking submissions, maybe not even a full month, a couple of weeks to get caught up with everything.
Yeah,
and we
just
can
give yourself
resume
a
from
chance
there.
to take your breath.
Just don't keep going deeper and deeper in this hole.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, but I think that, you know, unfortunately, I mean, obviously not just comics grading, but every industry across America has, you know, due to the pandemic, kind of found itself in a new reality. So,
yeah,
you know, trying to figure out a way, you know, hey, all this business is great, but now having a hard time staffing up and, you know, and everything else. So, you know, if nothing else, obviously, you know, we've talked about why we're here and what we're trying to do, but one of the advantages is, you know, guaranteed 9.8. These are already graded, ready to go. You know, there's beyond, even before the pandemic, the time frame of, you know, securing your books, making sure they're packed properly. And, you know,
it's a process. It's not as easy. You know, people like, oh, I'll just send it off. Even in the best of times, it was a process.
And I would say 95% of the people that send books in to get graded are usually disappointed with the grade that comes
There's
back.
a fair amount of disappointment. I know from the Facebook group I belong to, it's a story almost daily. This came back.
Yeah.
I was sure it was a 7. It's a 4.
I think it's that old adage. I've never met a parent who thought they had an ugly kid.
Okay? Yeah, no, you're right. It is. Everybody thinks they're
you know, that's not really possible, is it? Because there have been some ugly adults that I've had to deal with in my day.
Right here. Right here.
So you know, it is a process. So tonight, if you get anything here that is CGC graded from us, obviously the grade's guaranteed.
Yeah, everything's done already. We've got the yellow tab on here, the Sterling books, so that both the signature and the book have been verified. One of the mods of the comic Facebook group I belong to, she sent books in before Memorial Day. They're not back.
So Sean had a question. How does payment work? What happens is, Sean, you claim it, and then you fill out a submission form. And when you fill out the submission form, which there's a QR code on the screen right below AR, that'll take you to the form. Fill out the submission form, and we will invoice you ASAP. And you know, and once payment's been made, we'll pack it up and send it out to you. And you know, make sure you fill out everything in the submission form, the shipping address and all that good stuff. So, what do you want to do next?
If I don't want to reach across all the books. If you want to pull that one book upper right there, Detective Comics. Thank you, sir. Let me get this out of the bag. This is Detective Comics 1000. This is a Jim Lee variant. These are few and far between. These are not books that people got them and they kept them. These aren't books you can just pop into a show and say, hey, grab that off the wall for me. This is 9.8. Jim's work speaks for itself.
No doubt.
Jim is in a class with about 3 or 4 other creators.
You got a little bit of a reflection, my friend. Yeah. So, Detective Comics number 1000, Jim Lee variant, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8. We have one available tonight. Suggested retail is $89.99. We had it at $50, but the Nikki 10% special, and so this tonight will be $45. And again, guaranteed 9.8.
Yeah.
When you purchase it, no wait, no muss, no fuss.
$45. This is another really sweet snag because, like I said, even in these sort of limited times of shows and cons, you're going to walk up to a vendor and say, "Hey, look, I'm looking for this book," and chances are the vendor is going to say, "Yeah, me too."
So,
especially
did you guys review all the vintage comics? I know Emmy Comics was watching earlier. So
we've run through the Fantastic Four stuff twice. If there's anyone, watching that there's something you want us to, cover again, let us know. Just put it in the comments below. We've sold a couple things. We've sort of reviewed the Silver Age books, the slabbed books. I think we got all.
Well, Dave asked if you could start at the top row and start over.
I
think it's a serious question.
Did Dave want to Venmo us some money? Because that sounds like a lot of work.
We got you, Dave.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, Dave retracted it. I think he was kidding.
Ron claims Detective 1000. You got it, buddy.
I'll tell you right now, that might be like the steal of the night, man. Because
Ron, you got it at 45, my friend. So let's turn that.
Those Detective Comics really are some awesome covers.
Yeah, I mean, they're just. that one in particular, when I saw it was Jim Lee, I was like, I know people that are actually going to dealers and saying, I'm looking for this. And the price is either in excess of $100 or the dealer's response is, yeah, me too. If you get online on it, let me know. If certain people, when they do certain variants of certain, like, landmark books, they're just not out there, or they're not out there for a price that you want to pay.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've talked about this before. When you buy at the peak, you're supposed to buy low and sell high.
Yeah, AR was talking about that earlier in the show.
And AR mentioned, if What If is running right now, and you decide to start getting like Volume 1 Bronze Age What If books, yeah, they're way higher than they were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe even 5 months ago.
I was going to say even 5 months.
Exactly. I mean, no doubt, we've seen that bump, but I don't really see it falling off anymore. I mean, when you've got Wall Street firms getting involved and buying up companies like PSA and CGC.
Yeah, well,
it's just
they smell the money now. They smell. We talked about this. People have been home, in some cases, a year and a half, and they're going through their attics and basements and garages and spare rooms, and they're rediscovering their love of comics. They're reconnecting with their trading cards or their statues. I have a friend who is in the model industry. And like the old Aurora models are going for like these crazy amounts of money. While I love to see it, it's hard to know when actually to jump in. You really, like Aaron said, you got to do your research a little bit. Check out his show, follow what's going on. If we're talking about something other than comics, find someone that kind of knows what they're talking about a little bit.
So let's do that one, and then we'll do a recap.
Yeah, let's do this one, then we'll give it one more. This is Action Comics 1000. I got to tell you, variants like this are just too cool. This is a DF variant. Kurt Swan sketch art, and it's signed by Scott Snyder.
So
this
Action
thing,
1000 DF exclusive variant edition.
Silver Signature Series.
The cover has a sketch done by Kurt Swan and signed by Scott Schneider. Suggested retail of $80. We're doing it tonight for $50, and awesome. That turns into $45 with the Nick 10% discount.
And I got to tell you, that's just, if you're old enough to remember Kurt Swan in his prime, his run. I remember a few years ago. Well, this is probably 30 years ago. They did the passing of the pencil at New York Comic Con. It was like a whole thing where Swan literally handed like a pencil to John Byrne. You know what I mean? And it was sort of, they had like the final Superman story, and then Byrne starts over, basically starts the whole thing over again. Kurt Swan is responsible, if you're a Superman fan, Kurt Swan is responsible for a significant chunk of, we'll say, that late Silver Age, Bronze Age stuff.
Right. All right, so let's do a quick recap, right? So we had the Dynamite 10-pack reader set, so that's 10 Dynamite titles for $5. Are we still doing the 10% thing?
Yeah, $4.50. Somebody bought one.
Yeah, Ron bought one.
Ron bought one.
So that should make Ron's wife happy. Okay, I saved you 50 cents, Ron. You better run in and let her know. We got Grayson number one.
The more you buy, the more you save.
Yes.
Just tell her how much you
They
save.
just said that.
You always leave with what you save, not what you spend.
So Grayson number one, Batman variant cover signed by Tim Seeley. We had it at $19.40, but it's now $17.40. Then we have Transformers versus G.I. Joe number one. It's a two book.
This book we didn't talk enough about, man.
Yeah, we really did.
We talked about Ken Hazer.
You're getting actually 2 books in there.
You're getting 2 books in here. You're getting 2 Ken Hazer remarks in here, 2 sketches. You're getting Optimus Prime, obviously, and you're getting Dinobot.
So suggested retail is $198.40, and we were going to do it for $83.84, but tonight it's $75.46 with 10% discount. And just a reminder, everybody will get the Red Sonja promo card with every purchase. So, Ron, if you want to tell your wife this is free, maybe that'll make her happy, and she won't stun you.
And this is just a cool thing, too, man. IDW does these great sort of books where they're putting 2 properties together. Transformers versus G.I. Joe. There probably isn't a more iconic pairing especially for like 80s kids.
Right.
If I remember correctly, usually Transformers was on either right before or right after G.I. Joe. That was like that solid hour when you came home from school,
Right.
before practice or whatever. That
You
was
had 6
just
channels.
All right. So next,
29 and 17 or whatever they were.
Yeah,
you could-
57.
yeah, but you can never get 57 clear. So True Believers, Amazing Spider-Man #1 with a silver signature signed by John Romita Sr.
I always kind of feel fortunate when I even just get to hold this book. I mean, talk about Mount Rushmore creator for Marvel.
So we had it at $499.99 tonight at $450, and we can do a payment plan, 50% down and 50% in 30 days. Then when we just did the Harley, oh, that's gone. Sorry, that was claimed by T-Pain. My bad. All right. So then we had the Action Comics #1000 Dynamic Forces exclusive variant. We just did that. Kurt Swan signed by Scott Schneider, $45 tonight. Let's see. Star Wars was claimed by Ron. Amazing Spider-Man #800 Rivera variant, CGC graded 9.6 guarantee. We had it at 89, suggested retail at $89.99. We have it for $62, but with a 10% discount, what's that put us at?
Like $56.
$56. Close enough. Close enough. We'll call it $56. So $56 tonight. And then we just had the Detective Comics #1000 Jim Lee variant, CGC graded 9.8. Suggested retail $89.99. We have it tonight at $50 with the 10% discount, so it is $45. Walking Dead #1, 15th anniversary edition, CGC 9.8. Also suggested retail of $89.99. We had it at $50, but with the 10% discount, it is at $45.
Yeah, if you're a Walking Dead fan, this is
it's
an awesome book to have.
This is like your moment to shine, man.
Yeah.
$45 for a slab 9/8 book, the anniversary edition. That's
So Dr. Specter #4 high-end Ward Vegan limited edition. This is one of our. It's $100 suggested retail. Perfect 10 read at $10, but with the 10% discount, it is at $9 tonight. And then we have Flash Gordon #1, high-end black and white, ultra limited edition. Also $100 suggested retail. We had it at our Perfect 10 read at $10, but also with the discount at $9.
and someone should buy this because I'll take it home if you don't. We
Yes,
only
you
have
will.
one. This will not sit here.
Kyle claimed it before you.
So
How could he claim anything that's Dynamite before me? 2004.
all right, we'll flip the coin after the show.
No. If I wouldn't have shown it yet, I'm sorry, Kyle. I didn't know that, bud. I would not have.
So Shadow Year 1 #2.
Oh, this is a nice book too.
The high-end Alex Ross vegan art ultra limited cover. Suggested retail of $50. We had it at $19.30, but tonight with discount, $17.
We're gonna need an app that takes
like. Read Sean's comment. Thank you, Sean.
Alex Ross has
thanks,
incredible
Sean.
artwork.
We appreciate
You know
it.
what? This book is Kyle's, but I really like the cover, so I'm going to leave it out here for people to look at it, Carl, before it gets sent to you.
Batman Death in the Family, 4-book set signed by Jim Starlin, CGC graded, the entire series signed with the signature series yellow tag
Yes,
from
so you should
CGC.
yellow tag.
We had it at $1,000, but with the 10% discount, it is at $900. Star Trek, the motion picture, #1, signed by John Romita Sr. We had it at $499.99. It is now at $450 with the discount. Then we had Star Trek, Doctor Who, Assimilation 2, #8, with the DF exclusive cover. Suggested retail of $29.99. We had it at $19.66, but it is $17.76 with the discount. And then Star Trek and John's favorite character, Green Lantern, the Spectrum War, #1, Dynamic Forces.
This is a very cool book.
Dynamic Forces exclusive pure virgin art cover by Jay Lee. Suggested retail of $49.99. We had it at $19.66, but with the discount, it is $17.76. And then we have our vintage books. We have Fantastic Four #34. Presumed grade of 5. We had it at 85. Tonight with the discount, $76.50. Fantastic Four #35. Presumed grade of 4, 4.0. We had it at 85, but with the discount, it is also $76.50. Then Fantastic Four #37. We had it at $80, but with the discount, we have it at $72, and it is a presumed grade of 5.5. And then Fantastic Four number 38, we had it at $90, presumed grade of 5, and it is $81 tonight. And then the last one was the Star Trek book and record set from 1975. Brings me and John back to the good old days. Genuine 45. I don't know what you play it on these days. And that was $19.66.
You know what? Vinyl record players, they've really made a comeback. I'm actually surprised. A buddy of mine was talking about vinyl. I was just taking a little peek on Amazon. There's a ton of stuff to play. 45.
Oh, they made a massive comeback.
Yeah, they have, actually. I wish I still had my turntable and I kept all those records.
Go, guys.
So $17.76. Thank you, AR Comics, for joining us tonight. Kyle, before we get out of here, if you could flash up the link to AR Comics YouTube channel, that'd be awesome. And we will be back
next
thanks, AR.
Monday, thanks, Kyle. Thanks,
original
Nick.
art on Friday with Nick. All right.